Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Netball Show. Once again, our first finals edition, and what an episode we have coming up for you. We've got some finals face-off interviews, Matty. We've got Melton and North Ballarat City facing off against each other. We've got Sunbury and Redan facing off against each other. We're also going to preview the elimination final between East Point and Lake Wendouree.
I like it.
And then at the end of the show, I'm going to get ice-cold water tipped on my head. Unfortunately, I've been dobbed in twice this week for the Ice Bucket Challenge, of course, for the motor neuron disease. So I'll get some dollars out. And then at the end of the show, thanks to Emma, Jess and Rod Ward, I'm going to get some ice-cold water tipped on my head by you, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting times, mate. I haven't been worried about the netball show. I've been thinking about just tipping some ice on your head. So
it might be exciting for you, but I don't think it's going to be all that exciting for me. So let's jump straight into having a look at last week's games, the last home and away round of the season. And it was Sebastopol finishing off in 7th spot, best of the rest for season 2014, with a 42-24 victory over Ballarat. Erin Adderton 22 goals and Libby Denuden 20, as Matt's going to throw something at Rhiannon Banner, who's being an absolute fool in the background. No best players for Banner this week as well. It's a disgraceful effort by you against the bottom side, Rhiannon. Ballarat, Jessica Luke, Abby Wiltshire and Ellie Henderson, they're better players on the weekend. Good finish to the season by Sebastopol. Gives them an improvement on 2013, Matty. They've got one more win than last year. They've got one better ladder position than last year. So, in the end, whilst they didn't exactly get where Georgia wanted them to at the end of the season, it's still something to build on for next year.
Yeah, I'm sure that Georgia will still be happy with the season, how it all panned out. That last sort of half, and she's only going to improve next year. I reckon she's got a pretty young side there, so hopefully they can make it into that top 6 next year, and she'll be a very happy lady. But all credit to Sebastian in this game. I think Georgia went down with injury pretty early.
Very early, first 5 minutes of the game.
They would have been pretty sort of shaken after that, sort of thinking, oh no, we can't sort of lose this last game to Ballarat. They haven't won a game for the year, and this could be the one with the captain coach going down. So, but all credit to them. They stuck to their guns, and obviously a few players must have stepped up and had a nice 18-goal win. So very well done to Sebastian, and good way to finish the season. Good
win by the Burrows. Also a good win by North Ballarat City on the weekend, defeating Bacchus Marsh 51-29. Hayley Fiddler, 30 goals for North Ballarat City, was the main target in the goal arc. Gina McCartin, Sarah Melton and Stacey McCartin, they're better players. Jacinta Reid, Olivia Fireland and Taylor Drevensek, the better players for Bacchus Marsh. Good little tune-up for North Ballarat City leading into the finals, Matty, but disappointing for Bacchus Marsh. Couldn't get the chocolates in Frank Pavlovic's last game as A-grade coach.
Yeah, no, it would have been disappointing, obviously, for the girls. They would have wanted to get up for Frank. He's done a lot around the club, so it would have been disappointing. But look, they've done well. They had 4 different shooters throughout the day, so good to see they're sort of mixing up a bit and hopefully can have something there to build on next year. But North Ballarat, they really needed this win. Obviously a comfortable win over Bacchus Marsh, just give them that little bit of confidence they need to come into the finals. They've haven't had the best run, so something like this I think will just make them think that they can get up to where they were last year if all goes to plan and they can play some good netball over the next couple of weeks.
Good to hear the paparazzi in the background as well, snapping away at us, Matty, as well. Two good-looking roosters like us. Why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
East Point took on Darley on the weekend, and it was a solid win by East Point, 63-29. Cindy Daniel, 31 goals. Lauren Dew, 25 on the weekend, with Lauren Atkinson the best player, as we add another element to the peanut gallery in this room. Better players for Darley: Leah Mady, Demi Geary and Brooke Marshall, Matty.
Yeah, that's so I wasn't even listening then. Braid just come in and play.
That's what happens when you...
Threw me straight off.
It happens sometimes, doesn't it?
It does, peanuts. But yeah, no, good game there to East Point. Obviously a very big win. They're just continuing their form run with another 34 goal win, so fantastic form they're in at the moment. I'm sure Emma, the coach, should be very happy with the girls and where they're at the moment. They'll have a lot of confidence coming into the finals this week against Lake Wendouree, and but this one's just really topped off. Darley obviously were one of the top sides. Open the door quickly, mate. One of the top sides in that bottom 6, so to have that much of a win over one of them sides is really good for East Point coming into the finals.
You can tell the sun's out. You can tell that it's nice weather here, and the boys are in a bit of a playful mood around today. Foghorn alert, I reckon that's where Scott Carey's gone to go and find himself a foghorn. Very good win by East Point in the end. Sunbury taking on Lake Wendouree. Huge game, this one, in the context of the season, and it was Sunbury 57-33 winners against Lake Wendouree. 2 weeks ago, Lake Wendouree were in 2nd spot on the ladder. They've now dropped all the way down to 5th after a couple of consecutive losses. Sophie Gunn back into the side for Sunbury on the weekend with 30 goals and Ruth Smith 23. Kat Biskin 24 for the Lakers. Their best on-court player for Sunbury, it was Hayley Mackey, Ruth Smith and Sophie Gunn. Interesting loss for the Lakers. Now they dropped to 5th. Now, as we're going to talk about later on, they have to play an East Point side that they've lost to twice this year in an elimination final, whereas Sunbury just keep getting better.
And it really shows how close that sort of 2nd to 5th positions were, with second a couple of weeks ago, now down to 5th with a couple of losses. It just really shows how much a couple of losses can hurt you on that ladder, and coming into finals, how important that them ladder positions is. But look, Sunbury had an absolutely fantastic game. Obviously, got a big injection to the side, and it's going to make Sunbury all that much harder to beat. So they're already a very top side, even without Sophie. Now her in the side, I can't really see any team beating them in the next couple of weeks. But look, a really good win. Obviously, Lake Wendouree, one of the other top sides, and have a 24-goal win over them. Really shows how much above sort of that next group of teams they are. And they'll really be feeling good coming into this next finals game. But a very good hit out for both teams as well, just to see where they're at coming into the finals.
That indeed, and it was a very good hit out for Melton and Redan on the weekend. The two sides battling it out for the double chance and second spot on the ladder. Only 2 goals separated these two sides, no more than 2 goals throughout every break. And in the end, it was Redan winning the game and the double chance, 35-33, their second win against Melton for the season. Emma Henry, 22 goals for Redan. Ruby Parry, 13 goals, and for Melton, Mel McCauley, 28, and Brooke Gleeson, 5. Very physical game, very good win by Redan, and never mind anything about wanting to finish third or anything like that. I can tell you that both of these teams are going flat out to win this game.
Yeah, from all reports I heard, it was a very, very physical game, and obviously both teams really wanting to win this game. Both made it pretty well known they wanted to finish in that second spot, just with the uncertainty of the other games going as well. That second spot became all that more vital. You just wanted to get there to have that second chance this weekend, because who knows what's going to happen this weekend, finals time, anything can happen. So, but look, really great game. We said it was going to be the game of the round, and we were definitely spot on about that one. 2 goals of difference, and I think that really is sort of shows how close these two teams are. It was expected, and I didn't really know which way it was going to go, but all credit to Kate and the girls there with a 2-goal win, which will give them sort of a lot of confidence coming into next week, which is what they'll want and what they'll need coming up against the good Sunbury outfit.
Yeah, they will indeed. We'll have a look at the ladder for the final time this season. It's up on the screen at the moment. Sunbury finishing on top, Redan second, Melton in third, East Point in fourth, Lake Wendouree in fifth, and North Ballarat City in sixth, making up our finalists for season 2014. And it was Sebastopol in the best of the rest position in seventh, and then Darley, Melton South, Bacchus Marsh, and Ballarat. Awards time, Matty, and we've got 2 of them this week, of course, because not only do we have the Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week, but it's SC Technology Group Player of the Month time as well. SC Technology Group Player of the Week. Difficult decision this week because we had 3 teams that didn't supply us with best players. So Melton, you're out. Redan, you're out. Sebastopol, you're out. None of those players can win it because we don't know who their best players were. What we have to do is we have to look at a team that is playing finals this weekend that had a really good tune-up and got a player in form that's been a little bit out of sorts this season, but she got herself into form on the weekend, and if she is up and going this week, it could cause drama for the Melton defence. That player I talk about is Gina McCartin from North Ballarat City, the 18th and final Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week for season 2014. SC Technology Group Player of the Month time.
Last one.
This is the last one, the one everybody wants. We've gone to the top. We have gone to the minor premiers for this one, and a lady that has been in ripping form not just throughout the month of August, but throughout the whole season. One of the real keys to their premiership defence. Played a 200th game a couple of weeks ago, and she came on the Netball Show after that, so she won't be too disappointed about winning this at all, and we'll get you to present this to her at the Eastern Oval on Saturday as well. Congratulations to our SC Technology Group Player of the Month for August, Hayley Mackey from the Sunbury Lions. A fantastic month for Hayley.
Yeah, she had a really good, not just month, but year, as you said, and she's hopefully going to continue that form from this month, and I'm sure that in a couple of weeks the Premiership Award will be the main one she's looking at, but this will probably be second best award you can get for the year, I reckon, so well done.
Third best. The Sally McLean medal would probably be handy as well.
True.
Yeah,
True.
But it is a fantastic achievement, and well done to Hayley. A couple of people just missed out, of course. Lauren Atkinson and Kat Biskin from East Point and Lake Wendouree right up in the mix, and Rihanna Banner from Sebastopol was nowhere near it, so we don't even have to mention her name only because she's in the room. But let's change tack now and let's start looking at finals, because it's finals face-off time. We got 4 of the coaches from this weekend's games in to have a chat about their games to us. We've got, firstly, We have Melissa McCauley from Melton and Annie McCartin from North Ballarat City talking about the first elimination final. And we have Kate McMahon from Redan and Kim Bailey from Sunbury talking about the qualifying final. So let's cross over to our two finals face-off interviews. We'll come back with our views on the finals. Then I'm going to get wet. Welcome to the BFNL Netball Show once again this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have two finals face-off interviews this week. We're going to look at the qualifying final and we're going to look at the first elimination final and talk to the coaches involved in those games this week. We're starting it off with the 1v2 game, the qualifying final. We have the coaches from both Sunbury and Redan with us. Firstly, making her Netball Show debut this year, the coach of the Sunbury Lions, the reigning premiers, Kim Bailey. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Shaun.
Any time at all, it's an absolute pleasure having you here. And of course, a Netball Show veteran, if you will, because she's been here plenty of times before, the coach of the Redan A-grade side, Kate McMahon. Katie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, and welcome to September, people. Get excited, well, it's nearly...
It's actually August, but...
You know, you get the point.
I know what you mean. Yeah, very good. Now, Kim, this season, what would you say to me if I said that the Sunbury netball team get judged on 2014 starting from this week onwards? Given what you did last year, given obviously you came in as the reigning premiers, given the talent that you have in your squad, it was almost an expectation that you'd be in this position. Not so much on top of the ladder, not so much in the qualifying final, but in the finals. So is it probably fair to say that your report card starts being marked this week?
Brand new season. I don't think last year counts anymore.
Good, that's what I hear.
I'm only looking at the next, hopefully, well, I've got 2 or 3 weeks, maybe more. So that's what we're hoping. But, you know, I don't count last year. That's gone. So I just look forward to the next few weeks and see what happens there.
It's been a fantastic season for you guys, and you've deserved to finish where you have on top of the ladder because the team that you've had has been so consistent this year. You've got so many performers in that team where if somebody does remove, like Sophie Gunn has only played probably 2/3 of the season, you've managed to still move parts of that team in so that you're just as effective with Ruth Smith, Emily as a party, rotating through that goaling ring when Sophie's not there, and you really don't lose all that much.
You lose the height.
You do, of course.
You lose the skill and the experience of a tall goaler. But we've picked up these two fantastic girls, only young kids too, and they've replaced an extremely experienced player in Sophie O'Kane who's decided to trip off around the world.
Yep.
But these two girls have just slotted in perfectly. We don't mix with our line-up a lot, so that's where the experience comes in. Our bench is pretty... a lot of depth in there, so we can just swap and change when we need to be.
Yep.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, obviously, having some experience all throughout the side as well. You mentioned the young girls that come in, but then when you look and you've got Beck Moffat in there, you've got Prue Stanley in there, you've got Beck Anstey in there, and you've got Hayley Mackey in there who have played so much netball and so much finals netball. It's obviously really good for those girls then to assimilate into the side because they've got wise heads like that that are being able to bring them in.
And that's what we have to do. We have to bring these young girls in for the future of our club so they get to play with these experienced players and learn. And it's not just them, the young kids that learn, it's also me because these are fantastic players and I've learned so much from them as well. Chicken in the centre, Prue Stanley, is just an absolute workhorse. She's just a machine, that woman, and just runs and runs and runs. So, you know, she just keeps everyone accountable as well. It's a bit like a leading team situation sometimes. They all have a crack, but, you know, it's only because they just want to... They're so passionate and they want to get to the goal at the end of the day.
Now, Kate, we're here. Qualifying final. You've got your kids providing a bit of background for us as well.
Sorry, Kim. That's terrible.
It's all right.
You've been around about that top 2 mark for most of the season. Obviously, you started the season with some big wins. You've managed to dip back and forth a bit, but when it counts, you found yourself back in second position thanks to that win against Melton last weekend.
Yeah, like I said to the girls, our finals campaign really started for me last week. And I thought it was a really nice, I suppose, scenario to put it to the girls to start playing our best netball last week and give it the best shot that we had so we can finish, you know, in a really nice spot on the ladder. But also with some nice form going into finals. We haven't had a lot of time training with the full squad. We've been training twice a week for the last month to make sure the defence end gets a run because they haven't actually trained. I think they've trained a total of 5 sessions. So it's been really nice to get the team together in consecutive weeks. So look, we're really pleased, I suppose, with the position that we've got. And make no mistake, because of the draw last weekend, it wasn't really for me a goal to finish third, because it wasn't any guarantee with Lakers playing Sunbury. So it was a win at all costs game last week, and I couldn't be more proud of the result for the girls.
We obviously, when we talk about the best shooters in the competition, we talk about obviously Sophie Gunn, we talk about Mel McCauley, because they're fantastic shooters. We really need to enter a third name into that equation. Emma Henry has been fantastic this season in goals. So as we saw when the votes went into camera about 4 weeks ago for the Sally McLean medal, she was right up the top of that as well. And she has added just an extra depth to your side that, let's face it, has struggled with your shooting percentages at times this year. But then you put Emma back into that shooting arc, and all of a sudden it becomes a different story.
Oh, look, I'm not sure whether if there was a shooting percentage award, Redan would technically win that this year, but no. It's like anything. You don't get marked on your attempts at goals. You get marked on your final score. So, and that's something that I've really been drumming into the girls, to make them, I suppose, not dwell on necessarily the shooting percentages in games where it's not as high as we would like. We play very competitive netball outdoors in Ballarat in the depths of winter, and sometimes it's a wind tunnel out here at City Oval, albeit it's our home ground. It's a difficult court in the middle of winter, and I just really focus on the team effort and us getting the win. That said, bringing it back to Emma Henry, she's just an incredible athlete. She's so strong, being a defender by nature and really having a full season back in shooter this year. She's developed as each week has gone by.
Hello, Leah.
And she's done really well, but again, she's Sophie Gunn and Mel McCauley are just fine athletes in their own right. I must admit, I would like to put a PS in there. We've one game, I think the first game we played Sunbury, we kept Sophie under 20 goals, and Mel McCauley, I think we've kept under sort of 25-ish, around 25 goals. So again, it's great to have a big gun shooter, but it's a full team effort, and I think that's something that we'll be really focusing on in the next few weeks.
And that leads me to my next point. Obviously, we know both of your sides are very, very strong defensively. We look at Beck and Beck in your defensive end. We look at Erin Riley and Amy Elliott in your defensive end, and just this game that you're going to play on Saturday afternoon at 2:00 p.m. is going to be a very defensive game. 3:15, that's right. That's right. We got you to the back one. It's been all up on the screen at the start anyway, so it's all there. Don't worry about it. I just stuffed up. Very defensive game, because you probably got arguably the 4 best defenders in the league on the court at the same time.
Oh, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be dry. It's a runner's game, I reckon. I think that, the Hayley Mackies, the Prue Stanleys, Cassie, I just think they're going to run. And that's what we haven't had the opportunity to do when we've played each other, because it has been pretty poor conditions. But, there's matchups all over the court this week. These two teams match up most probably best on each other as any teams in the competition, and that's why we've had such close games the last couple of times we've played them. So, look, it's going to be a hard slog wherever you are, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, as you've just said, I think the greatest thing, true. I mean, the whole thing is, yes, you've got height in both ends. We've got both very good defensive ends, I think it must be said. But I think the contest that I'm really looking forward to, like you just alluded to, is Prue Stanley, I think, in my mind, would have to be one of the fittest athletes in the league. But I think Cass Peace would have to be the second fittest. And I think, like you've just said, it's going to be a running game. So for the first time, we've got a dry day, and I think going to see that pace through the middle, and I've always said finals are won in the mid-court, and I think ultimately it's going to be really a really nice thing to sort of see the mid-court, and that little battle between Prue and Cass, I think, will be very entertaining.
You've done it twice before, Kim. You've beaten Redan twice this year, albeit in very close games and very tight encounters. How is it that you'll beat them the third time on Saturday, apart from, of course, putting more goals on the board than them?
I think last time we struggled in the attack area. Their 2 defenders were extremely tight on us, which caused us some concern. So I think we just need to do some work in the getting the ball into the ring as much as we can, and trying to isolate them a little bit.
Yep.
In saying that, we just need to create that drive down the court and split open the middle. But I don't want to give too much away, Shawnee, and tell Kate my plans.
That's what we're here for. I'm going to ask her about her plans very shortly, so I was hoping that we get a little bit out of it. Katie, how do you beat Sunbury? Tell me.
Look, it's probably not a very big secret that Roms, Walsh and I are pretty good mates. So, we whether or not it brings me undone through September, I'm not sure. But I spoke to Roms a little bit after last weekend and just said, how did it go and all that sort of thing. But with respect, Roms, she didn't really tell me a lot that I don't know. Sunbury have a very strong defensive setup they work through, and also I suppose they have a situation where they've got Sophie Gunn down the attacking end. In one respect, it does give us the ability, I suppose, to know what we need to do, and I think that can make training sessions a little bit easier. But I think the beauty of it's going to be, once again, get started and just sort of when the heat gets taken out of what is the first final and it's always there and the nerves settle, and just getting to the coaching of the girls and getting a really solid team performance together. And I think that's going to be the key. It's not going to be one person shining or doing this. I think it will be a momentous sort of a game where we'll swing and dip and dive, and I just think, and that's what happened actually last week against Melton. I know you weren't there for that, but we were up and we were down, and like I said to the girls, it's just going to be just keep your head level and stay together, and we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a very interesting game come 3:15 p.m. this Saturday afternoon. We don't worry too much about these. They can go out of the way, and we start the journey for this as I knock over the sponsor's product as well. The 2014 Golan Company Premiership Cup. One of these two teams will take one step closer towards getting their hands on this weekend. Kim, thanks for joining us. Best of luck on Saturday. Very much looking forward to watching your girls go about their business.
Thanks, Shawnee.
Once again, and try and see if last year's Premiership Cup can get a nice frame towards it at the end of the year.
We need to try and replace it because Beck Moffat has...
She partied it pretty hard, didn't she?
She's done some permanent damage to that cup. And
that was within an hour and a half of getting it.
It went missing for a few weeks,
Yes.
so we need to try and get it a matching pair. That's our aim.
Speaking of matching pairs of cups, this would look pretty good next to the 2011 version, wouldn't it?
Oh, that was just a year to behold for the club, and it was a very exciting time. We have also got a number of changes possibly happening in the lineup going into next year with people leaving. So there is certainly a couple of girls in the team who have got their minds set on finishing as high as we can. So there's a lot to play for, and I like holding up cups. I think it's fun.
Do you want to do it now?
No.
Okay.
It's not mine.
Yes, it may be. It may be. I like holding it up. I'm going to keep my hands on that for a while to go. Ladies, thanks for joining us on the Netball Show this week. Our finals face-off interview. Best of luck on the weekend. May the best team win.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you very much. And please come along and watch at 3:15. Don't worry about the footy. It'll sort itself out. Just
Bring your sleeping bag. It's going to be a late night.
It's going to be that late. The weather's going to be beautiful.
3:15, are you kidding me?
It's okay. The weather in Ballarat at this time of the year is beautiful. We'll have sunlight. We'll have barbecues. It'll be great. East Nova, great place for
We'll be
netball.
getting home at 10 o'clock at night, mate.
You will be. I won't be. I'm going to live around the corner. That is our finals face-off interview between the Sunbury and Redan coaches. We're going to go with our second finals face-off interview for this week. We're going to bring in Mel McCauley from Melton and Annie McCartin from North Ballarat City. Let's have a listen to what they have to say about this week's first elimination final. Welcome back to the BFNL Netball Show. It's finals face-off interview time. We have got the combatants, well, one of the combatants and one of the coaches, if I will, from this weekend's first elimination final being played at the Eastern Oval on Sunday. Firstly, the coach and the star shooter from the Melton Football Netball Club, Mel McCauley. Mel, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Second time on the Netball Show this year, so you're moving into the veteran status.
Yep, ready for retirement.
Just about. We won't go that far yet because we've got a little bit to get out of you before that. And also joining us is the North Ballarat City coach, Annie McCartin. Annie, welcome.
Thank you very
Your
much.
first Netball Show appearance. You handballed it off to, I think, both of your daughters throughout the year, so now we've got you on.
Exactly right, Shawnee.
Going to be a big day, of course, on Sunday. First elimination final. Mel, third spot. Probably not the ideal what you would have thought of at the start of the year. But as I've heard you say before, if you're good enough to get through this week, the double chance then sorts itself out.
Yeah, look, I think it's anyone's game when you hit finals, so I don't think necessarily if you finish in first position that you're going to be in the grand final. You could finish in first position, lose the first week, lose second week and you're out. So just because it's elimination, if you play the game that we've been playing all season, then hopefully that'll get us over the line. And yeah.
And Annie, you're approaching the final series from a different perspective this year. Last year you went in on top of the world. You're absolutely flying. You went in through the qualifying final and had the double chance. This year, playing for your life from round one, bit of a different feeling, different approach that you have to take?
Yes, Shawnee, you know that as soon as you step out on that court, that you have to bring it and you have to do it. There's no second chances, or you just got to get out there and prove what you can do, really.
It's going to be obviously very interesting for you guys this week, Mel. As I've heard you say before, this Saturday is going to represent only the second time for the season where you're going to have your preferred starting lineup and preferred squad on the court. Obviously, with yourself away on holiday, with Brooke injured throughout the year, with other players throughout VNL, ANL duties unavailable, it must give you a good feeling knowing that you've got the right end of the year and all of a sudden everybody becomes available, because we know how much better that side is when you've got the players like Maddie Carter in centre court, when you've got Brooke Thompson directing through defence as well.
Yeah, look, it's quite exciting. I think all the girls are pretty pumped for the first round of finals. I know that throughout the season, it's each week everyone's like, oh, who are we missing this week? It's not who we're playing, it's who's not playing. So I think it is exciting that we've got everyone back. But then, having said that, when people have been away, we've still been able to win.
True.
So you can't therefore heavily rely on one person. So it's not about one person's game, it's about a team game, and I think that that's where we've really stepped up this year. That, you constantly say, it's about me shooting. Well, I can't shoot if I don't have the ball.
Yep.
So I need the defenders to be able to turn the ball over and the mid-quarters to deliver the ball. So I'm pretty excited to have a full squad. It's going to be challenging then, who do we start on the bench? But, yeah.
It's a good place to be for a
Excuse
coach,
me, Mel,
really.
perhaps you could?
Yeah, look, well, that's on the cards as well.
Annie?
Just to throw a bit of a curveball in. If I didn't start, what would you do? Your game plan would have to change as well. So.
Well, there we go. Could do something to consider. Speaking of which, obviously, you did bring up the elephant in the room before that we've been talking about most of the season, the fact that you have been fairly, especially in the first half of the year, the team has been very heavily relying on you to score goals to win. In the last 4 to 5 weeks, though, that hasn't been so much the case since you've come back from overseas as well. We've seen Brooke Thompson get more involved in the offence. We've seen Jess Bartlett get more involved in the offence and put more goals up as well. Has that been a specific focus in the last 4 or 5 weeks, or is it just the way that with the centre court and everyone's starting to gel now that it's just come about that way?
No, look, I think the rotations is definitely working. Brooke Leeson is definitely putting up fair lot of shots.
Yep.
It's hard when you're a shorter girl and you've got 3 tall people in the ring, that they tend to find that space. Having said that, Brooke does a lot of assisting in that circle, so she feeds the ball really well to me. Penalty pass or shots, I get my name up there for the shot, but, it's the team that gives the ball. So, you've got the likes of Maddie and Libby that are feeding the ball. I've played with those 2 girls both outside of this team, and I've played with Brooke in the team, so it's about familiarisation and looking for that opening.
And it's probably a different perspective from yours this year, Annie, because you go in very much as a quicker team than you did last year. Your girls are a lot shorter. You look at your goaling end, and it's probably the opposite to what Melton's got, where you've got Gina that's about 4 foot nothing, and Tani that's only about 4 inches taller than that. So it's been a different game plan that you've had to implement this year.
Yeah, exactly right, Shawnee. And it's been a big ask for Tani to go from defence into goals, because she's come from a basketballer and she's done a wonderful job there. But as you said, once you meet those tallies in the goal circle, we have to try and be a little bit smarter on how we sort of get the ball into our goals.
Is there a specific key that you've got this week looking at the Melton side? Because you would have done your homework. I've got absolutely no doubt in the world about that. What have been, apart from obviously the lady sitting next to me, what have been the things you focused on in the Melton side looking ahead to this week?
Yeah, I think that we just have to be on our game and match Melton in whatever they present to us, whether it be through the mid-court there, that they might try to put a bit of pressure on us. We've just got to be ready and prepared to be able to stand up to whatever Melton really has on offer. As I said though, Melton's got that lovely height on both ends, and I know that they'll use that to their advantage.
They will indeed. And Mel, obviously with the way that the draw's panned out over the last few weeks, you've actually had an opportunity to go and see North Ballarat City play in person as well. What did you glean out of that as the main things that you're going to have to try and stop to win this game on Sunday?
Yeah, look, I was lucky enough to go up on a Sunday, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and watch North City take on Sunbury. It was quite a good game. I wouldn't have liked to have played in it. I think it was about 2 degrees and the wind was howling, so the goals were going up but then going off on an angle, so that was interesting to watch. But look, they do have they do obviously have shorter goalers, I'm not going to lie, they're probably the average height is quite short in that attack end, and we've got the height as an advantage. But it's about pushing them out. Problem is though with short goalers is they like to receive the ball out because they're more confident shooting from longer range as opposed to in close. So it's about stopping it before it gets into the circle.
It's going to be a very interesting game, of course, isn't it, between these two teams on Sunday. If you're looking for this game, head up to the Eastern Oval on Sunday afternoon. And as I delve into my bag of tricks, look what I found. Do you want to touch this, Annie? You didn't quite get to touch it last year. Bit of luck beforehand.
Yep.
I know there's some people that don't want anything to do with this before the day, and are you one of those, Mel? Don't want anything to do with this before you get the chance to hold it up on the last Saturday in September?
Well, I think it's more of an honour at the end of the season that you hold it up. It's kind of like the Melbourne Cup. If you talk to any of the trainers, no trainer, no jockey's going to want to touch the Melbourne Cup before they touch it on the day. So
True.
I'm hoping that at the end of September that I will be holding it up then.
Well, I'll have to make sure I get the wax out and wash all my fingerprints off before then as well, because that's staying in my office for about the next 4 weeks.
More than welcome to have it.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining us on the Netball Show this week. Best of luck with your game on Sunday. Unfortunately, only one of you can go through to next week, so it'll be very interesting to see which one it is. Best of luck. If it is the last game that you play for the season, to both of you, thank you very much for everything during season 2014. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with both of you, and I'm going to do it to at least one of you again next week. So, Mel, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Annie, thanks for joining us as well.
Thank you very much, Shawnee.
Mel McCauley and Annie McCartin, the coaches of Melton and North Ballarat City, joining us on the BFNL Netball Show this week. It's time to head back into the studio and have a look at exactly how we think this week's games are going to pan out. Finals face-off interviews. We'll see if we can get something like that happening every week, because it's good to see, especially Mel McCauley coming down to Ballarat and Kim Bailey from Sunbury as well, but it's good to see the coaches just having a little bit of tate-a-tate going into the finals.
And it's obviously a lot better hearing it from their point of view than ours for coming into the game.
Course.
Obviously, have a lot more knowledge on that game and the teams than we do, so it's fantastic that they can get them down. So a big thank you to them, and I'm sure that all of their fans will really appreciate it.
Hence, because we've already done 2 of the games, we're going to pretty well gloss over them as well and just give our tips, starting with the qualifying final, Sunbury v Redan. Which way do you see this one heading, Matty?
Sunbury in a very close one.
Yeah, look, I reckon Sunbury as well. It's going to be a very physical game. I just feel that Sunbury have got that little bit of an edge at the moment. They haven't beaten Redan by much, as we heard from Kate and Kim in their interview, but I just feel Sunbury just be able to get them over the line, which is win-win, because the Redan girls love it when I don't tip them anyway. Yep. So if they do win, then I can say, well, I was tipping against you as a bit of a spur. If they don't win, then sucked in, I tipped Sunbury. Melton taking on North Ballarat City. We've spoken about this one with Annie and with Mel as well. How do you see this one panning out, Matty?
I think Melton, with their form this year and going against North's form this year, Melton should comfortably.
Yeah, I think Melton as well. Just the height of the Melton side, obviously, across the board, they're much taller than the North Ballarat City lineup, but I just feel that will help see them over the line at the Eastern Oval on Sunday. The last game, the second elimination final, East Point taking on Lake Wendouree. This is going to be an absolute ripper between two sides that probably had fixings on finishing higher than 4th and 5th on the ladder this year. They play each other at the Eastern Oval on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. They've faced off twice this year. East Point have won both of those. One of them was only 2 weeks ago, where they choked the life out of Lake Wendouree, and I think they shot at 61% total that day. So it was a very un-Lakers-like performance that day, and East Point will be wanting to do exactly the same thing again.
Yeah, no, it sure will be. And I think East Point have had the best second half to a year you could probably imagine. They were sitting at 6 sort of halfway through, and they've really just kept stepping it up each week and knocking off them top sides, whereas Lakers of the last couple of weeks sort of dropped off a few games where they should have been a lot better. But it is finals time, and anything can happen. East Point and Lake Wendouree both a lot of finals experience. Both Lakers players. There's a lot of new ones in this year that wouldn't have had that all experience from their grand finals, things like that. I'm not sure if there's many there that would have actually played in them grand finals. So look, I think East Point, with the way that they've been going, and their top 7, some of the put them in the best top 7 in the league.
Yep.
I think that they're going to just get over the line in Lakers, but it'll be a very, very good game.
This is a game where I can see the Lakers rebounding. I'm not going to tip them, though, solely because of the form that East Point is in at the moment. Their confidence is knocking down doors. They know that they can beat Lake Wendouree. They've beaten them twice already. They know that their sights aren't necessarily on this week. They're further on in the finals, and that can be a distraction because if they do look too far ahead and I suppose look past the Lakers and not give them the respect, then the Lakers will take them out. There's no doubt about that. But I just feel with the form that East Point's in that they're going to get themselves over the line. They're going to knock the Lakers out and they're going to move on to the semi-finals. I think it's time now. I think it's time that we take the camera outside. We're going to say, we'll say our goodbye shortly. You can say your goodbye now because you're not really coming back on screen apart from to tip water on me, so...
I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. We're back again next week and exciting final stuff this weekend, but nothing more exciting than what's coming up next.
Yes, Ice Bucket Challenge time. Thank you to Emma Jess from the Redan Football Club, of course, their netball coordinator, and thank you to Rod Ward, who nominated all of us in the office in a nomination that hasn't been published on social media yet, so it's not official, so exactly. We really discount that one. So it's all your fault, MJ, that this is going to happen. Ice Bucket Challenge time. Well, here we are. Ice Bucket Challenge time. I'm not really impressed with the fact they've got a bin rather than a bucket, but it needs to happen. Yeah. Emma Jess, thank you for this from the bottom of my heart. Motor neurone disease, this is coming to you. Not a lot. I'm on a sports administrator salary, so there's not a lot to go around, but Matty, you hold on to that for me because I don't want that to get wet. Now, nomination time. Andrew Day from McDonald's, you're copping one. Darren Woodyard from the Wendouree Cricket Club's going to cop one.
Yes, the Wood Duck.
And from the Lake Wendouree Football Club, one of my old cricket teammates, Josh Gilbert. You're going to have an Ice Bucket Challenge as well, Gilbo. Matty, Banner, get this over and done with. Yes. That's all the time we've got. That's all the time we've got on the BFNL Netball Show this week. I'm out of here.